So the plan for this episode is mainly just gathering materials and hopefully getting closer to the quest we've accepted. We do have some time to wait though, almost 6 days until we can take off again. So we'll be here for a little bit. I may actually expand the ship's rooms while I'm here though. We'll have to clear some space to do that. So the steel vein has almost been mined out, and some basic floor plans for the 2 bedrooms I was planning on making are being laid down. Tree has a food binge, and a combat supplier approaches. I'm probably gonna ignore the distress signal for now. We are in a bit of a rush to get going, and already 2 days have ticked down, so Lips receives food poisoning, and instead of having Tree approach the caravan to trade, Lips will do so instead. Okay, so this could be a decent quest later on, but I won't be trading with these people at all. The main thing we'll be doing here at the moment is just improving quality of life aboard the ship. Actually, now Tree is free, we will double check for chem fuel, which they do not have. Okay. We shouldn't run out, but we'll be dependent on the next location to provide chem fuel. Kiko has a tantrum, but will just damage random items and furniture. We have plenty of time though, so it doesn't distract us from our main goal. Lips finishes completing the shell of the 2 new rooms, and now we will begin working on furnishing them as well as other areas of the ship. As her construction skill is now 12, I'm gonna be aiming for at least excellent quality beds. With so few colonists, even having one on a mental break is pretty bothersome to the functioning of the ship in general, so we need to make sure that doesn't happen. Tree and Kiko will be assigned their own personal rooms, as they are the 2 colonists who we are most reliant upon for the time being, and whose moods are also consistently the closest to mental breaks. Next, the stools within the dining room will be replaced with dining chairs. And some additional chairs will be made for workstations. Green has a work frenzy inspiration. Speaking of, he will be leaving in just under a week. He has actually served the colony fairly well, despite only being a temporary guest. With Lips working on construction, we will have the rest of our people work on getting some more steel in, as we've already used a fair amount from the last vein on furnishing the ship. Early the next day, we finish furnishing the work areas with chairs and work on an upgrade for our chess table from normal to excellent. This should help increase the speed of which we gain recreation, hopefully leading to less mental breaks. And Lips achieves 13 construction, making her very useful around the ship now. She's been getting noticeably faster with upgrading the ship, both rooms only taking around a day to build. She now finishes repairing up the ship from Kiko's tantrum, I believe it was. A sandstorm hits the map, while our colonists haul in the silver from the most recent steel vein. We have 1 day left on the engine cooldown, and during that time we will begin mining out some component veins as well as silver veins to the west. Tree finishes researching smithing, and our next research project will be batteries. The colonists continue mining the designated resources to the west, and as soon as they're finished and they've been hauled in, then the ship will depart for its next location. Some ship junks fall nearby, but I think I will just leave them here. The mining is finished up, and the last of the resources are hauled onto the ship. A grav core is detected, and we will have a look at the quest. So this is definitely something we can look into doing. I will accept this quest. As we no longer need the map, so the pollution is worthless to us and provides no negative setbacks, and we're able to get a masterwork weapon. I will likely have Kiko keep the SMG in favor of that over the auto pistol. And the colonists settle down for the night, with the plan in the morning to immediately leave for the next location. Due to a mill rotting away, the maximum mills will be decreased for the time being. Some steel had gone unnoticed to the east, so that's being hauled on before we leave. Lips finishes up the hauling, and we immediately have the ship prepared to launch. next location will be a mountainous field area within range of the pirates' space station or orbital platform. The next time we jump, we should be able to deal with the bounty that we have accepted. Though, for the time being, we need to restock on fuel. Another thruster breakdown occurs, but it will not be a problem as we have the components to repair them. Speaking of, as first job completed here, will assign some components to be mined out to replace the ones we're about to lose. And after which, we'll assign a number of trees to be cut down so we can finally activate some electric components aboard the ship. A number of space chunks crash nearby, and those will be deconstructed for more components and steel. The number of components we're managing to get is increasing significantly, and fairly easily as well. In fact, so fast that the colony may not need to research component manufacturing until a fair bit later than would be normal. Although that depends on whether we grab any from the next locations we plan to visit. Tree gets food poisoning. The last of the components are hauled in, and the next order of business is cutting a large number of trees down. A solar flare strikes the map as we finish cutting down the first lot of trees. This won't have any effect on us for the time being, as we are almost about to start setting up our electrical appliances. The wood gathered will hopefully be enough for around 5 or 6 ship flights, maybe more, and the fuel tanks had been running on almost empty. We will eject the fuel from one of them and use it to set up a chem fuel generator near the ship's cockpit. I'll also work on separating it from the rest of the ship. With the expansion of the bedrooms as well, new wiring will be laid down around the ship's exterior walls. The solar flare ends, and we fuel the new generator, while the other colonists work on continuing wiring up the rest of the ship. With this, we should be able to get rid of some of the debuffs, including Darkness, which is a -5, a pretty big one to get rid of at the moment. And we should also be able to speed up our cooking and stop using wood for fuel, which will save a lot more of it for chem fuel production. With the turning of a new day, we can now do a celebration for our ideology. And once the colonists wake up, that is what we will do. We begin the true advent. And the reward, I believe, is a potential new colonist if things go well. And that seems to be the case, as Kiko decides to become lovers with Green. We do end up getting a new colonist, who we will accept. Then being a bush sniper, I'm expecting some pretty good shooting skills. And the colonists also receive a +6 mood bonus. Looking at Sam's stats, I'm actually pretty impressed. Animal handling is now easily left to her, and she has a very good shooting skill. The careful shooter, honestly, is pretty good. Although she will take slightly longer to aim, her shots will be a lot more accurate. So we will most likely be leaving the SMG to her now, and having Kiko take up the auto pistol, as the revolver Sam carries is fairly bad quality. Going back to Kiko and Green's get together, I'm unsure of how it's going to work exactly, as Green is only with us temporarily. So I'm hoping it doesn't cause any issues for Kiko. A manhunter pack of manhunting hares arrive. There look to be about 8 of them. And we will have the colonists body block in a doorway. But not before we switch our weaponry round. Lips has been caught out, so we're going to change our tactic and hopefully help her out a bit. Due to Lips being a little bit sneaky, we have ended up with her taking a lot of damage and risking scarring across 4 of our colonists. So I will be breaking out the medicine to try and prevent this. I do trust our colonists' medical stats though, so we shouldn't have any fatalities to this. I do want to bring down the usage of industrial tech medicine as much as I can though, and considering we now have a decent amount of herbal medicine that is growing on the map, I'm going to make use of that. And harvest as much as I can within reason. As expected, Green gets a scarring infection. We will give him industrial tech medicine as a nice farewell gift, as he is technically in a relationship with one of our colonists now. And maybe we will see him again someday. A colonist now joins us as a reward for looking after Green, who I had honestly forgot about completely. Oh, the soldier, I remember now. They'll be very useful for dealing with the manpower shortage we will inevitably have in the coming days and weeks. I will have Tree swap cooking duty with Sam, and Shio will take up the responsibility for art, as well as growing, but as an assistant rather than a main. And then also Shio will clean, and Sam will be on hauling. I'm tempted to have Shio going to doctoring, but because of the no passions, he's gonna fall behind, whereas the others are gonna get a lot further ahead. If I'm able to get my hands on a skill increasing item for medical, then I may consider it though. The only risk of a scarring infection now is on lips, and we will see if that ends up being the case during the next day or so. We receive a quest for the endgame, although I'm not really interested in paying attention to that right now, considering it's just the start of the run. Lips is asked to re-equip her Masterwork Nerve Spiker, and Shio takes up the only weapon available, being the poor quality revolver. I seem to have misplaced the machine pistol, or maybe accidentally sold it, so weapon-wise we could really do with some work. Moods are also extremely low across several of our colonists due to repeated food poisoning. A pair of shamblers enters the map. They will most likely not pose to be a threat though, due to their only 16 hours of life left in them. With the injuries and bouts of illness striking the ship's crew at the moment, work has slowed down considerably, with the wiring still being less than half complete, and attempts on producing more fuel have been very minimal so far. However, we have been able to gather a small amount of herbal medicine, which should hopefully help increase the health of our colonists. With Tree now back to full health, and the food poisoning having left her system, we have her produce fuel and immediately use it to refill the ship's engines. Shio prepares the material for wiring, although Lips will likely not be able to start that until maybe tomorrow, as they're still fairly injured. As night arrives, we've produced enough chem fuel to top up both of our chem fuel tanks, and will now begin producing reserves for the next couple of journeys, although doing this has halved our wood stockpile, so some plans will likely be made to cut some more wood before we leave. The morning arrives, and the colonists begin gathering more wood. The ship has less than a day till departure now, so we need to make sure there is as much material for fuel on the ship as possible. Our food stores seem to be doing decently well, although I may harvest several berry bushes to increase them by a couple of days. Shio causes some problems with his differing ideology, so we have Tree attempt a conversion on him. The next time we're able to do that, he should be converted. The same will not have to be done for Sam, as she joined through one of our Ideolegion's festivities. Tree is tended to, and Lips works on wiring the ship finally. The berries nearby are harvested and brought back to the ship, and this should hopefully give the colonists another 2 days or so worth of food. Kiko is tended to for his sensory mechanites, and judging by how long he's had them now, he shouldn't have more than 1 or 2 more treatments before the disease fades. Lips finishes up wiring the ship, and we are now almost ready to leave, with just a few more berries having to be hauled. And with that, the ship is now ready to launch again. The next location being just out of range of the Macy's bounty quest, so we will have to wait for the ship to cool down again. The ship launches, aiming for a green destination within the massive desert expanse we are now in. We will land the ship between 2 hills. With a large amount of material deposits nearby, a lake, and a large amount of fertile soil, it will be an ideal location to resupply the ship. And due to the 6.8 days before we can launch again, I will prepare a large number of trees to be cut, so we have room to grow a large amount of food and cloth to increase the beauty of some of our bedrooms. Though while the colonists begin to work on that, I will end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed and are enjoying the series so far, and I will hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.